Lee at Iridium. The gang's back. The show's back. All killer, no filler, total frustration. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Very well, thank you.
Everyone's all right?
Good, good. So, I mean, let's get the rules out of the way first, and then we're going to quickly talk about the best year in metal, in my opinion. So,
Lee's favorite.
yeah. All killer, no filler, total frustration. If you don't know yet, I'm sure most of you do, is what we do is we pick a song from an album that year. We can't repeat albums, so we can't have two songs off an album in this list. And also we have to match the track listing with the original track listing of the album. So that's the rules. And 1986, man, this is a total frustration, as in songs that leave off is just...
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, I mean, just my honorable mentions. It's just like, what's that?
Yeah, I can do this. I struggled a bit earlier on, you know, where you guys, I could understand where you were coming from, where you tried to leave off because we've done some All Killer shows on bands alone,
Sure.
haven't we? Def Leppard being one of them, AC/DC, that sort of stuff. And I could understand. I struggled a bit in the earlier years when we first started this in '80 to leave those off. But now it doesn't really seem like a problem. In fact, it's the other way around now. It's like, you know, you can easily include songs that we haven't done. But there's also plenty of others that you just, oh man. But at least we get honorable mentions, don't we? That's the thing.
Yeah.
We can
slide those in there. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I have got a couple probably on here that we've spoken about before, but one, I think, maybe just one that we've done a All Killer show on. But apart from that, they're all ones that I haven't really spoken about yet. Probably having other past things, but you know. So great year, guys. I mean, for me, it's my best year in metal. And so, you know, just the amount of releases is just ridiculous. You know, the great albums that come out.
Quality albums. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I'm trying to think, is it nostalgia that makes you think that because of your age? But no, they are fucking great because they're still great. And you can just, and they're fresh. A lot of these are so fresh, you know, now. Ridiculous.
Absolutely. And as we've said countless times before, it's so much easier to delve into a band's catalog that you didn't have the money to try or whatever. And when I hear there's one in particular on here that I didn't listen to in 1986, but going back, as you said, it still sounds fresh. It sounds fantastic. Songwriting is great, you know. So I don't think it's nostalgia, but no, I mean, I could be wrong being an old man.
no, you never know. But an absolutely great year. Now we're going to start this off. I can't, because I can never remember who went first last time. So you guys probably do.
Yeah, I mean, I do the even year, so I'm 86, I think. So I'm starting.
Oh, that's a good way to remember. Okay, I never remember either.
I won't remember that anyway. Even you saying that. So there you go. But that's how old we are. So okay, Jam's going to kick off. So this is our playlist for 86, if you like, our All Killer playlist. Jam, what you got, mate?
Cool. I feel like we're getting to the stage now where we're perhaps picking the song we want to pick and then thinking, oh, the others might pick that. Not because you don't want to clash, but you think you want to give everyone an opportunity to talk about the song they've picked. Yeah. So there's a song I was going to pick and I've not picked it because I think one of you guys might have it, but you know, we might end up it's only an honourable mention. So I'll go with one you definitely won't have picked. And one of my favourite bands is, and this is not one like, oh, I'll pick a Ramones track because I like them all and there's a space left. This is one of my favourite tracks off a really good album, and it's the opening track from Animal Boy, and it's Somebody Put Something in My Drink, which is the ninth album.
Somebody.
Yeah, it's one of the best tracks on the album. In fact, it's a good album actually. Animal Boy. It's got some other good track. Another track I'll mention later in my honourables, and it's another one of the perhaps heavier albums they did. But yeah, Somebody Put Something in My Drink. As all Ramones songs are very sing-along-able, which is a new word I think we've also discovered doing this show. Great opening track to an album. I've got about 6 or 7 I could have picked, but I thought I'd pick this one because no one else is going to talk about it. So there you go. Yeah. Somebody Put Something in My Drink by the Ramones.
So Dom, you haven't picked anything from the, I don't think you have, from the Ramones yet. You know the songs because you just sang
I do. I know the Ramones catalog quite well.
But they're not like up there for you, or?
Well, and I mean, I guess, you know, we all have our own opinion of what the remit for the channel is. It's not something that I would have come off the top of my head is like, oh, I should include the Ramones on a metal channel. I mean, they are borderline, and I know lots of metalers love Ramones, including me. But I don't. Yeah, there's just plenty of other long hair bands that I can talk up, But
we do like to go. We do
have.
like to go borderline anyway, don't we? Even if it's the other way around, we have Darren on the channel, don't we? And he's very borderline on some of his choices.
Yeah, the Eagles and talking about the Eagles and stuff.
But we love him for it.
I don't know if the Eagles are hard rock or heavy metal, but I don't know. We'll try to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're sort of right, and sometimes I call this I think this actual program is rock and metal. So rock,
okay,
I mean, definitely would go there. But yeah, it's interesting. I just want to know what you're feeling on the Ramones.
All right, yeah. I mean, Ramones are definitely rock. So yeah, and anything goes. And I think he mentioned Misfits as well.
Yeah,
Some of the more goth-oriented stuff he mentioned last time. Big fan of those bands as well. But there's plenty for me to pick in that kind of.
Oh yeah.
I always kind of use Kerrang as a reference. Like, would they be on the cover of Kerrang? Maybe Ramones were at some point. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
I mean, I remember a time in the 80s when Kerrang came out, and there was some complaints because it was all the other side. It was like Bryan Adams, and that was like he was on the front cover, and it was just full up with softer stuff at that time.
Yeah, I always remember the Prince cover was a big issue as well.
Mm-hmm.
They put Prince on the cover for the Purple Rain album, and people were like, "What?"
Exactly. And for me, if people are liking all these bands like Offspring and Green Day, which is sort of punk, I hate that sort of punk music, supposedly punk music. You've got to go back to where it all came from in the first place. And the Ramones were there first, and Misfits were there first. And obviously, Misfits are more hardcore punk. But I just like to talk about them because look, you see loads of people wearing the t-shirts, Misfits and Ramones t-shirts, and you can guarantee none of them ever heard any fucking songs by them.
Oh, they got them out of fucking Primark, mate. Or
yeah.
That's where they got their t-shirt. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway,
and Motorhead's the other big one as well.
Yeah,
Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses.
That can't name 5 Motorhead songs. It's just like.
Yeah, it's got to be Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, and Ramones are the t-shirts that everyone fucking wears. That no one knows the songs anyway. Oh, mate, great choice though, Dom. What you got, mate? Yeah.
If anybody hasn't turned off already because old men are ranting.
Again.
Here's my number one. This is a band that, as far as I'm concerned, the first track off the first album, it all went downhill from there. But this track I love. This is Poison from Look What the Cat Dragged In, and the track is Cry Tough. I think it's the best thing they ever did. I still followed their career, but just with diminishing results. They got away from that kind of just pure power pop from the first album. But this song is just great. It's almost like a Phil Spector-ish production. I just love it. It could be sung probably by like a 60s girl group, it's one of those really catchy pop songs. But yeah, they never got better after this. Just a great team.
I actually liked their first album. I thought it was quite good back then.
Yeah, it was a big album for me. It was one of those that I was working in record stores at the time, so we got like a promo cassette of it. So I was listening to it. It's one of those that took a year for it to really catch on. I think I just read in Wikipedia that it peaked at Billboard. I think it peaked at number 3. And it was a full year after it was released. And that was their peak position a full year after. So similar to Appetite for Destruction, where it took a very long time for it to catch on. So I was already memorized every word by then. But yeah, Cry Tough, if you don't know it, it was the first single, but again, they weren't a big name yet. So a lot of people may not know this song, but just a great sing-along track.
And also you wouldn't know until they dropped their trousers if they were male or female with that cover. Fucking hell. I mean, God, they took it to the extreme, didn't they, with the makeup and that. Oh, God.
And good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
I was disappointed when they went down that route of growing beards and stuff. I was like, everybody does that.
Yeah, and I think their music became more lackluster in the end. It sounded very, I don't know, they had no energy in it for me in the end.
Yeah.
But there you go. Yeah, not a bad album though for me. I'm so glad you didn't choose this, my first song, and because it might surprise you a bit, only because you might not have.
I bet I know what it is.
Go on, you can have a guess.
Turbo Lover.
No.
Oh, okay.
Only surprise you is you might have missed this when looking at your albums of 1986, because it's a bit and it's the Stars collaboration.
Oh no, I've got yeah.
And Hearing Aid, the Hearing Aid thing, Stars, the song Stars,
Right.
got it the other way around.
Yes.
So the Hearing
Well
Aid.
done, buddy. Well
Yeah,
done.
I know, because I've always loved this song, and of course it was an album just full of live tracks from the bands that appeared. So the album doesn't really mean anything to me, but the song Stars, I'm glad they just brought it out on an album, because otherwise I couldn't include it in this. Obviously, if it was just a single or something, I couldn't have included it. But I just love it, and of course on that album, you get the 7 minutes and 15-second version
With all those freaking solos.
all those solos, which are absolutely fantastic. I mean, it just had all the people, didn't it, that were just I mean, some of the musicians and the vocals going on in that song were just amazing. I did notice they all put their roughness on because they was on that Dio written type track, if you like. And like even Dave Meniketti from Y&T sounded a bit like Dio because he was trying to be a bit more, but of course you had
the only one that probably doesn't is Dawkins, because he can't.
Yeah.
He's just,
we're saying that. I remember because I had the video as well, and Dio gave him a little bit of not a bit of stick, but was just telling him to sing a little bit harsher,
Oh, was that? Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah. If you go on YouTube, I think the video will be there, and like Don's doing his bit, and Dio's going, "Can you try just a little, sing a little bit?" And he's like, "Oh!"
Can you try not to be such a pussy, Don?
Yeah. But of course, he's got a brilliant. Well, he did back then.
Yes,
so
of
much
course.
now.
I love him as well.
Yeah, exactly. But Dio wanted to get him into the feeling of the song, which was a bit of a tough thing to talk about. But he was like, "Oh," But
God bless him.
yeah, an absolutely brilliant track. I love that song. It's a shame because I want it on my Spotify, and I can't get it. It's not anywhere. So
is it not? Oh, right.
So I want to listen to that in the car, but I never go. But anyway, I love it. Absolutely love it. Hearing Aid, Stars. I was getting mixed up. I say Stars is the name of the band, but it's
right.
It's Hearing Aid.
Tune. Yeah.
Because
when you first said the Stars, I was thinking of that band Stars with a Z at the end. I don't know if you even know who they are. No. I was like, Stars, right? We're Stars. That's the one.
Yeah, but probably the best, because it was just after the Sacred Heart album. It's probably the best track that wasn't on Sacred Heart. You know what I mean? I think it was probably better than anything on there for me, even though I like that album. But Stars is just...
someone sent me a video not too long ago of Dio doing Stars solo in a concert. Oh. I think it's a Japanese thing. I didn't even know he ever performed that live. No. He did, and there's a great video of it on YouTube of him doing a solo. It just sounds great. He should have been doing that for years.
Yeah, I love the song, man. It's a typical Dio song, wasn't it? But maybe a bit heavier than the stuff he was doing around that time. But I'm glad you didn't have it though. See, a bit of a left field one that for me, isn't it? Just
definitely
stuck it in there. There you go. Okay, track 2, guys. What you got, Jem?
Yeah, I mean, typically nobody picked the one track I thought you might pick, so we'll talk about that. Right. Anyway, going on to number 2, it's probably some people's favourite album of the whole year. Master of Puppets.
What an album. Love that album.
Yes, I mean, if you're into thrash metal, it's one of the best albums that's ever been made. I mean, I prefer And Justice for All, as I said many times, but this is probably my second favourite Metallica album. Every song here is brilliant, but I thought if I'm going to pick a song, I'm not just going to pick a space and just drop one in. I'm going to pick my favourite song of the album, which is probably there's the title track, obviously Master of Puppets itself. Don't know how long it is, 8-10 minutes, something like. It's quite a long track, isn't it? But it just
flies by. That flies by.
It's a staple of the live show. Always has been. I was lucky enough to see them. They played the whole album. I think it might be the first time ever downloaded. It must have been. It was an anniversary. I think we discussed it before. So it was 25 years, I think, or 35 years, whatever it was. So it was about 2012 or something like that. And no one knew they were going to do it. They come on and they did the whole album in order, not reverse order. And it was just brilliant. And Master of Puppets, obviously, is a highlight of the album.
They didn't advertise it as
no.
Oh, cool. Right. So it's a big surprise.
And this was setlist.com has got all the set. I think it was before that was really up and running. So they might have done it in other cities or other places, but I certainly hadn't read about it. And we were all just there. And then it said it's been the anniversary of it. And then everything goes, and now to honour it, we're going to play it in its entirety. And everyone went absolutely mental. It was brilliant. Well, I can't remember. Well, it was 86. So it must have been a one. So maybe it's 2011 then. It must have been 2011, I guess. It wasn't on 2016. It wasn't that soon. It was quite a long time ago. But anyway, brilliant. Great song.
A fantastic album that I know they're trying to recapture that, but that's just a moment in time, that album for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think they're ever, no matter what, it's about an attitude as well, isn't it? It's not just about, it's everything about that album was absolutely 10 out of 10 for me. Brilliant. Great choice, mate. What you got, Dom?
I've got a band we've kind of touched upon, but I think this is their masterpiece album, which was much maligned when it came out. But again, we've had this discussion about these albums that didn't do well at the time, and now they're kind of looked upon as being great these days. This is Quiet Riot, their album QR3. They had really pushed the keyboards kind of up front. Still rocking, but definitely not the kind of bare bones, from the first album, or I guess third album that was, Metal Health. So a bit more melodic, a bit more AOR. The band themselves, I guess, hate this album. They say it was pushed on them by the record label and the production and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's their best thing. This song is called "The Wild and the Young." A lot of people haven't heard this because they just thought Quiet Riot were over by this point. But let me tell you, this sounds great now as well. Really great production. It was kind of a left turn for them. I'll give you that. It wasn't kind of that bang your head kind of stuff. But as far as melodic hard rock, this is hard to beat. Very good.
Say true. I think I've said about Quiet Riot before. I've only heard a handful of songs, but that probably sounds something like I would like more than the other stuff.
I think you would. I think you'd like the entire album. It really has that great feel. But this track, especially "The Wild and the Young," is just one of those, 1986. You can just feel it, and it's just great.
Nice, great, absolutely great, mate. Okay, well, my next one is, I only had one album from this band, and they're still going now, actually. And I don't know why I haven't explored them further, and I think I probably will. But this was Metal Church. Metal Church. Right. Yeah. So off the Dark album. So that's the only album I had. I absolutely loved it and can't explain. Maybe it was money. I don't know the reason why I didn't explore the band further at the time. And the song "Start the Fire," which was a single as well, I believe. Just a great metal track. They were sort of bordering on thrash, not quite. There's probably more metal than thrash, but "Start the Fire" is a great song. If you haven't heard it, real chugging and heavy, a brilliant song. I think it's one of their more well-known songs as well. Probably one they play. I don't know, but I will. I mean, I know they're going now, and they're sort of one of them bands, aren't they? They're a bit like Flotsam and Jetsam, where at the time they sort of, now fans just really think they maybe should have been one of the big four. Flotsam, do you know what I mean? Maybe they're bordering on that, and I think Metal Church have grown that over the years. Now people go a bit mad for them. Why not? But I haven't. I should really invest in some of their, listening to some of their recent stuff really. But "Start the Fire" from the Dark, great album.
Are they American or are they German?
They're American. They're from Seattle.
I think. Cheers, mate. I didn't really. I didn't really know. I thought they was bordering on American because I know Top
Yeah.
of the Tour has sung with them as well, and it's a perhaps.
Oh, right.
I thought they had. Some
Oh, and
connections
that's
there,
Seattle and that's Queensryche as well, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but
But
Great
yeah,
song.
my history with Metal Church is similar to yours, but different. Like these first two albums, they had their original singer, but then by the third album, they had a new record deal and a new singer. And that's where I got into them with an album called Blessing in Disguise, which is the third album. So I know the third and fourth records pretty well, with a different singer than the first two. But those are the only two records I really know. After that, they kind of splintered and stuff. But yeah, the third and fourth records are the ones I know. And that's the singer they have now, is the singer from the later period.
All right, okay. All right, cool. See, look, I learned something. I've learned something as well being on here. There you go. Thanks for that, Dom. So that's it. Metal Church, my number 2, guys. Moving on to number 3.
Number 3, I'm sticking with a heavy and thrash metal theme. I'm going with Megadeth's second album, Peace Sells. Once again, the title track, actually, Peace Sells from this album. For me, this is what I call the classic period of Megadeth. I don't know if everybody else does, but this album, the next one, and the one afterwards, I won't mention them now because we'll come on to those. My favourite 3 Megadeth albums. The new one, Dystopia, was pretty good as well. So these are, and I love this song, Peace Sells. The bass line at the start, and I just remember seeing it at Donington on when everyone's fists are going in the air to the bass line, and it's just a classic, brilliant song. But once again, like Master of Puppets from Megadeth, this is one of the staples of any Megadeth show you'll see. I don't believe there's ever been a show without, since they've written it, obviously, they've played a gig without playing it, and Peace Sells is brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well,
absolutely, it's a stone cold classic. It's such a classic that it's my number 3 as well.
There you go. Quality. There you go. It's not mine, but I do love the song. I love the song, actually. Yeah, it's a great song.
I mean, you can't deny it. It's just a classic, you know.
I don't know why Megadeth I've never really fully got into. I think at the beginning of when they first come, it was his vocals more than anything. I couldn't wrap my head around the vocals, and I think sometimes for me they got this punk edge, haven't they, that I don't really get along with as well.
And that's probably what me and Jam like about it.
Maybe, yeah, probably. But I know that some of their songs are full. I do love some of their songs, but it's individual ones, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it was if there wasn't such a great track 3, then I definitely would have picked track 1. Wake Up Dead is just it's the first thrash song that I ever heard and loved and said I have to explore this genre of music. Wake Up Dead just floored me, but I had to have Cry Tough on there. But
there's 3 or 4.
Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. Poison and Megadeth, but you know,
that's what it's all about, mate. That's what it's all about.
Still rock and roll to me.
Okay, well, my track 3 is possibly coming from. It could be my favourite debut album of all time, maybe. If I, it's a 10 out of 10 album, and that's from Tesla, Mechanical Resonance, and Getting Better. I chose off of that. This is one of them ones that you say, Jam, you guys, where you could choose any song. They're literally, I love everything about this album. It's just
because I know it's getting better.
Oh yeah. It's got that little bit in it at the beginning you can hardly hear Jeff Keith. And then it just kicks in. It's just a really fun song. It's just fucking, it's just fucking brilliant. It's a brilliant song. I mean, there are even better songs than this on that album, but the way the game is, I couldn't really choose them. But this is like a 10 out of 10 song for me, but not the best song on the album. I mean, fucking hell, it's that good for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, and absolutely mind blown I was in '86 when I played the album. I just thought, fucking it. And I mean, they have made some great albums, but I mean, I did a ranking of their albums, and I thought that the next 2 albums might have crept in front of it because they were so good as well. But when I actually individually broke it down, it still was their best album for me.
Oh, it's still that one. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But the other 2 are just fucking brilliant as well. You know, the next 2. Just
Yeah,
what a run of 3 albums they were. Absolutely brilliant. But that's it. Getting better.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
Four.
Number 4. Okay, I'm going to a band. This is their 3rd album for me. The last proper good album. I expect you guys might agree until their last one they did, and that is Rat and Dancing Undercover album, and it's the song Slip of the Lip. It's not a perfect album, but there's about 3 or 4, 5, 6 good songs on here, and there's another one I would have liked as well. But I think this is my favourite song on the album, Slip of the Lip. Great album cover. I mean, it's quite stylised, and it Rat and all the black and white cool pictures.
Yeah.
Really good. I like that. And just still rocking track, still similar vein to the first 2, slightly more commercial, maybe a little bit, but still part of the classic Rat 3 albums, I guess, the first 3, and it went a bit downhill after that. There's not a lot I like after that, apart from Infestation when that came out in 2011, something like that. But no, classic song, Slip of the Lip. Don't know if it was a single or not. I know Dance. I think I said Dance was track 1, wasn't it? So yeah, we can go past that. But I think
there's a music video for it as well. Yeah.
Oh, there is.
So, yeah, great song.
I like the way you move your hips.
I've got into that. I was disappointed at that album when it came out because I think that Invasion of Your Privacy was just fucking mental, and I was expecting the same. But to tell you the truth, this is one of them albums that recently I've seen. I've really grown on me a lot. I love. I know we're not. I shouldn't talk about it really in case Dom's chosen it, but Body Talk is just brilliant, isn't it? Like even a bit freshy, even.
I was going to say that's pretty fast for you.
Yeah, Lee. But I fucking love that song. It's just got such a good feel to it, you know. But I apologise if I've chosen your song, Dom. But there you go. It's all part of the fun.
You haven't. You're okay. You haven't.
Right. Okay. I haven't chosen it either, by the way. So that's why I'm mentioning that. There you go.
No worries.
Okay. What you got, Dom? Number 4.
I've got Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Oh yes.
Yeah. What an album. I know some people prefer the second one, but I actually prefer this one. I don't know, maybe just because it was the first one I had or whatever. This is Animal. This record is just so, it's of its own. It just sounds like nobody else. It really does.
Over the top in it, the album.
Absolutely.
In a brilliant way.
And and everything. The vocals, that first vocalist he had on this album, who apparently has some Journey connections as well.
Yeah.
He was it. Yeah, I don't know his whole story, but what a great record. Again, I probably could have picked almost any track off the air, but I've always liked that song, Animal. That's a really good one. So there you go.
What a great album that was. I mean, Vinnie Vincent done a fucking Spinal Tap and turned it up to 11 on that one, didn't he? He fucking really did.
And that video for Boys Are Gonna Rock, where the last 4 minutes are just him, just stage is crashing, and the fucking.
It was a perfect example of someone being kicked out of a band or wherever it happened, and him just going "fuck you," and I'm just gonna play better than anyone else, and I'm gonna. I fucking love that album, man. That is, and I like it more. I'm like you. I think it was a lot rawer than that second album as well.
Yeah,
it was a bit toned down. The fun was a bit toned down on that second album. It was still brilliant.
I agree.
It was still brilliant.
They did that on purpose because they wanted to get some chart hits or whatever. But brilliant album.
Fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, my number 4 is the best ballad ever written.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Probably a bit more unknown, not your typical band probably that I've mentioned them before. White Sister, I've got on 84. And it's Save Me Tonight from Fashion by Passion album. So this was this was in the Fright Night movie. Yeah, I looked when it was apparently when Brewster was on his computer or something, or he was in his bedroom, and you can hear it in the background. But it's an absolutely brilliant song. I love it. It was the first song we'd done a ballad show in the 80s, ages ago when I first started the channel, basically. And this was my first one to mention because it's my favourite ballad ever. Starts off with piano and it just builds and builds and builds. So much emotion in it. Everything.
Have you ever shed a tear while that's on?
Have I ever what?
Shed a tear while it's on?
Definitely. Every time, mate. I'm just thinking about it now.
You're getting all welled up.
Yeah. No, it's fucking excellent. If you guys add it to your Lee playlist.
I'll add it to.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Anyway, right, okay. Track 5. What you got, Jam?
Couldn't be more different from that then, by the sounds of it. I've gone back to a bit of folk rock and New Model Army from the Ghost of Cain album, and it's a track Poison Street. Another, well, it's up tempo. It's a bit of acoustic guitar in there. It's just a great song. There's some good songs in Ghost of Cain. I don't know if you ever heard New Model Army. Have you listened to them?
No, I've heard of them at the time. I remember them being about, but I never got listened.
I think you'd like it. There's nothing offensive about it. There's nothing musically you wouldn't like. I mean, you might not be fluent politically or whatever. I'm not that I do, but yeah, they're interesting. They're quite rocky as well. They're very pretty. One of the albums I say is quite heavy. I still can't remember what it's called, but it's pretty heavy. They're pretty heavy rock. But this isn't the best song on the album. The best song on the album is number 3, but I'll talk about that on the honorable mentions. But this is a great song. Poison Street, sing-alongable. I think they still do it live. I'm not sure. They've got so many albums that they're difficult to play more than one song per album. But this is the period of New Model Army I listened to. I haven't really listened to any new stuff, but I probably should do. But just too much out there, isn't there, to listen to? So.
Wasn't there someone when you mentioned this band before? Someone in our comments, didn't they? Was quite happy. You, I think.
Yeah, a couple of people.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed his picks. Yeah.
Because
he had the Cult and he had Sisters, and people were digging it. So well done.
Yeah.
Cool. I just have to say I've never heard New Model Army being referred to as folk rock. I've always thought they were kind of borderline goth.
Well, I suppose they're not like Bob Dylan, are they? But I don't know. I just think it's goth. Yeah, I don't know.
They're not fucking Billy Bragg, are they?
Yeah, no.
I mean, with what I read about them, because I've never heard them, with what I read about them, I thought they was a goth band, but that's just through Kerrang,
Yeah.
But I've never actually heard them, so I can't actually comment.
But they're not. Yeah, they're not like Depeche Mode or Sisters of Mercy. They're not that dark. They're all more upbeat. You see, that's what I'm thinking. They're not really. But I don't know. Don't know what you call them, but they're rock anyway. Let's call them rock.
Okay, cool.
I've got a really great best of that I really like, and I only got it maybe a couple of years ago. They didn't really do much in the States, so I didn't really know who they were. But I definitely love that era of Mission and all of them. So I picked that up finally, and it sounded great. It really did. So I became a fan a few years ago, but again, I just have a best of. I haven't delved into all the individual albums.
Cool. What you got then, mate? Number 5.
I've got the one I was speaking of about that I didn't know it back in the day, that this is a fairly recent thing I've heard. It's the band Wasted with Pete Way from UFO. And this is called Heroes Die Young. And it's from the album Save Your Prayers. And I didn't know this, but shout out to David from Hair Metal Rules, which is a site that I watch as well. The singer is Danny Vaughn from Taiketo.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he was in Wasted. And he sounds great on this album. This album is really good. It's, that borderline melodic rock, AOR, whatever you want to say. But wow, just some terrific sing-along songs. Just great. So this is a recent find, but wow, it's really good.
Yeah, that's it. See, I sort of knew that. I didn't know his name, but someone suggested to me I react to, is it Forever Young, Taiketo?
Great song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then someone said, he sang for Wasted, and that album was more that sort of thing, that, that melodic hard rock type thing.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. I don't think the Wasted albums even came out in the States as far as I know. I remember reading about him, but I know he's kind of he was kind of a pisshead. So I wasn't expecting much, But wow, this is a terrific kind of lost great record. So that's
he
called
passed away, didn't he? He passed away a couple of
Save Your
years ago.
Prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him right before he passed away as well, and it was one of the saddest experiences I've ever had in my life.
Oh, fucking
It
hell.
was just terrible. He was just shaking like he definitely wasn't playing an instrument because there's no way he could have. He was just kind of fronting the band and just kind of going back and forth and wearing his striped, spandex
Oh, fucking hell.
and just you could tell he was just completely, I don't know if he had, shakes from the drink and drugs or if it was, legitimate, but it was really sad. So
He said, okay, my number 5 is a band called Zeno. Don't know if you've heard of them. It's
I've heard of them, but I don't know anything about them.
So it's Zeno Roth fronting the band. He's not with us anymore either. Of course, Uli John Roth's brother from Scorpions fame. This is a debut album called Zeno, and it's a song called Far Away, and the album's absolutely fantastic. This is another example, like we were saying before, of an album that didn't do a lot. In fact, I remember that lovely album, that lovely magazine Kerrang slating it a little bit, giving it like a 3 out of 5, saying it was not all that and it should have been better and was expecting more. And it's just grown and grown in stature of those people into that AOR stroke melodic rock. And it's looked a bit of a classic now, and deservedly so. It is absolutely fantastic. And Zeno's guitar work on this, he's so, just like his brother, so inventive and so different sounding. Brilliant, like songwriting on this is absolutely fantastic. Obviously add this to your list, guys, of my music you haven't listened to yet. But this is another album I could have chose a lot of songs. Some people can't get along with the singer's voice. He's quite high pitched sometimes. So, but I actually love his voice. I think it suits the music perfectly. There's almost an Eastern feel running through the whole album. That sort of Eastern sort of melody. Absolutely love it. There's so many songs on this album, but this is the one I chose. It's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's just, I've mentioned this album before as well in a few other shows. It's one of them long lost sort of ones that a lot of people have heard. But I think they was destined or pushed by the record company to be really big. And I think that's the problem what the magazines and that had with them, that they should have been better than they were, but
too much hype.
It was hyped a bit. They were actually on tour. They did maybe one concert when they came to England to play with Queen. They supported Queen.
Wow,
pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, I never saw them, but I think it was the last Queen. Would it have been 86?
Would have been 86. Yeah. The last two.
But even you could just see the melodies and that running through the album, very Queen-esque, very inventive, just like, the guitar parts. I think you guys would love it, but, obviously I'm not going to hold my breath for you listening to it, even though I listen to everything that you suggest.
Of course you do.
Of course you do. Yeah, straight away.
Okay, that's my number 5. Getting on to number 6.
That's it. Halfway point. Okay, I'm going to go with another big album from 1986. In fact, had a number 2 single, I believe, in the UK, and that is "Slippery When Wet." Bon Jovi.
Wow, yeah.
Their third album, and obviously most commercial. And it's a song, "Raise Your Hands."
Yeah.
I didn't want to pick any of the big ones that we're certainly not living on a prayer that we've heard a billion times and never need to hear ever again. I mean, even to be fair, at Wanted Dead or Alive, I was nearly picked because I still love that song. I must admit, even though it's played a lot, I do like Wanted Dead or Alive, but I didn't want to pick that. So yeah, go and Raise Your Hands. Pretty great opening riff to the song. Great heavy, fast track. Heavy for Bon Jovi anyway. And it's I just remember. I already knew the track, but I like it. I like that bit in Spaceballs. I don't know if you've seen it when they play it. I think the Winnebago's flying through space and they play Raise Your Hands, and I think Barth is singing along to it. It's quite funny. Great film. I love Spaceballs, but yeah, Raise Your Hands, Bon Jovi. Excellent.
That's a great album.
That's probably my favorite track off the album, I would say.
Yeah, great album.
The most straight ahead, just rock song.
Oh, you've given me a great idea, though. We can't call it all killer, no filler, total frustration. We should do a list of 10 songs that we don't want to hear no more, that we love, that we've heard too much. Oh, yeah. But it might take it'll take a little, but it's getting them in that track listing again, isn't it? That's going to be that's going to be the hard thing. But I'm sure we can come up with 10, maybe.
Wow,
maybe. It'd be hard though. It'd be hard, but I'm sure there'd be. I can think of a few now, but
we've got to get through about 35 years first, and then we'll think about that one.
We could do it on a side note. We could do it one day. We could do it. Slip it in there, maybe. But or maybe we just list a load of songs we don't want to hear no more. Maybe that'd be easier.
To be honest, I'd quite like to do a ballady one. We could do an all-killer ballad one as well.
I agree. Okay.
You mean ballads that you never want to hear again? Because there's plenty.
No, just ballads to do one.
Oh, right.
Great choice though, Bon Jovi. I think myself, I don't know. I think their recent material, they're one of the only bands that their recent materials put me off of their past material. It's like put me off a little bit. Like, can't you?
I have bands like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't you even fucking write one decent song? Do you know what I mean? Just so we can like remember how you was. It just, I don't know. It frustrates me a little bit that Bon Jovi. I really do. But yeah, if I actually think about it, that was a huge album for me. A huge album.
Yeah,
that.
It was. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually saw them on that tour with Cinderella supporting, and they opened with "Raise Your Hand." So I remember just the girls just going nuts.
Yeah, I saw them at Donington Monsters of Rock the following year. And I think they might have opened with that, and Cinderella were there, the opening band as well.
Yeah, I remember.
I saw them on New Jersey tour a bit later for me.
Oh, right.
Only seen him once, but
that's still good. That's still before Stamson cut off his hair and lost his.
Yeah, that was a good album. Yeah, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, when it comes to it.
Lost his mojo.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he lost his powers after that.
Okay, what you got there, mate? Number 6.
Okay, number 6 for me. We've already spoken about this album. This is "Dancing Undercover" from Rat. I have a bit of a different opinion about this album. Side 2, starting with this song, is probably my favorite block of songs for Rat. Of all of them. I love from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I love every one of those songs. I just don't think people really listened. I don't know. I mean, the minute I had that on cassette, I was just like, this song, "Looking for Love." I
love that song, man. Oh, it's a brilliant song.
I know.
How catchy. How catchy is it? Oh,
yeah, absolutely. So, if I was going to put on a side of a Rat record, I would always go to side 2 of "Dancing Undercover." I know people really prefer the first and second, and I love those records. Don't get me wrong, but something about this just stretch of music, just I love it. So it starts off with "Looking for Love," and there you go. What a great tune, as you say. Very catchy, great little riff.
Yeah. Everything about that's catchy. That, like you said, that riff at the beginning, the chorus, it's a brilliant. Excellent. I love that song, man.
Thanks, guys.
Good one. Okay, I'm going for a debut album from a great band that didn't really last long enough. I think in the end they might have had 4 albums out, and one of them probably now, maybe 15 years ago. One of the reasons would be that the singer passed away, another singer that passed away. And it's Crimson Glory.
Oh yes, your favorite Midnight.
Midnight, because "A Queen of the Masquerade" is the song off a brilliant debut album, only topped by their next album, which we'll get onto in later years, which was a perfect album for me. This one was near enough perfect. The production was a little bit muddy because they're a sort of band, they were very intricate with their playing. Their guitaring was very, very good. Very Queensryche. The singer had that Jeff Tate style voice, but if you actually thought about it, maybe he was better. A bit controversial, I know. Of course, Todd La Torre joined them and sadly didn't make any music a few years ago, probably about 11, 12 years ago. There is one. I
didn't know that.
There is one song which I can't remember what it is that they recorded as a demo with Todd. And it's a really good recording, actually. It just sounds like a proper recording. And I can't remember the name of the song, but I heard it once or twice and it's really good. And it just gives you that. It's a shame because I would love to hear a new Crimson Glory. Perhaps they'll try and get hold of another singer, you know, but Todd obviously won't go back to him, but, you know, hopefully someone else will come along with a similar voice, because you need that voice, because they were just absolutely brilliant band. And just like I said, they had 2 albums, this one, the next one, which were excellent. Then they brought another one out. They went a bit weird. They went a bit Zeppelin-y on the 3rd album. And then they brought out an album, like I said, maybe about 12, 13, 14 years ago, which was sort of harking back, but not quite. And the singer didn't have that tape type voice, midnight type voice. But there you go. A great song all the same. Queen of the Masquerade's my number 6.
Cool. Is that a self-titled album then?
Yes. Crimson Glory.
So the next one is Transcendence then, right?
Transcendence, yeah.
Correct, yeah. I mean, they had these masks as well, didn't they? Or even these... They had these cut like little bits of mask. Of the singer had like the side
like
of his
Phantom of the Opera kind of thing.
Yeah, which was quite cool. You know, it was a bit
I like
different.
that.
Well, there you go. That's it.
Cool.
Number 6. Moving on to number 7. What you got, James?
Number 7. Well, we've just mentioned this band. I'm surprised no one has picked a track yet, but it's Cinderella. And the debut album, Night Songs. I love the album cover. I think I bought this purely on the writing. I just absolutely love the logo. I remember trying to do it on the school books. It's just so hard to do, but I just loved it. You know, just copying out. I used to do all that at school, copying all the Iron Maiden and everything, and Cinderella and Wasp. Brilliant stuff. But yeah, this I probably could have picked most songs off this album. It's definitely my favourite Cinderella album. I do like Long Cold Winter, but blues metal, blues rock, not so much my favourite thing. So I prefer this more straight down the line, sort of hair metal, glam metal, as we prefer to call it. But pretty heavy as well. I mean, this album is pretty rocking, really. It's probably heavier than Bon Jovi, for instance. And the song is "Somebody Saves Me," by the way, which is I think it's probably my favourite song on the album.
Oh, mate, what a riff!
It's a great song.
What a riff on that song!
Brilliant. Yeah. There's 3 or 4 on here. I mean, we can talk about Night Songs, Shake Me. I mean, it's all brilliant on here. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that album. That's my favourite from them as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. They've done 4 albums, I think. They did that blues one after Long Cold Winter, and I don't know if they did anything after that or not. But
Heartbreak Station and then Still Climbing was a few years after that, like 94 or something.
And they
did play Download a few years ago, and obviously because Tom's had a lot of vocal issues, hasn't he, with his vocal cords and stuff. They did play Down, so I actually have seen them, and they were pretty good. I mean, I don't think his voice was what it was, but I did get to see him once, which was pretty cool. And they played quite a few songs off this, so that was nice.
It's probably the reason why I like that debut album's the one for me, because the blues was only touched upon on it really on that album, but then it got bluesier and bluesier as it went on, really. You know what I'm like about blues. Very particular.
Well, I mean, Cinderella were a big band for me as well. So much so that Somebody Save Me is my number 7.
Your second match.
We got 2 matches.
Come on, Sam. What the hell? Stealing all my shit.
It's a great song, man. I love the song. I absolutely love that song.
As he said, I could have had "Shake Me" or even "Nobody's Fool," which
Nobody's Fool, great song. Yeah,
amazing track. But just the way the list fit. And what the hell? You can't.
That's a great song.
Yeah, you can't say no to that riff, man. Wow.
Yeah.
One of the last times I saw them, it was like a package tour. It was Cinderella headlining, and then Rat with Jizzy Pearl supporting.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
With Firehouse and Quiet Riot.
That's right.
But Cinderella headlined, and I remember the stage was kind of dark, and they started with "Somebody Save Me," and then that when it kicks in, da 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 da, and then there were fireworks, and then the backdrop came down with the Cinderella logo. It was just like, fuck yeah!
Oh, brilliant! I mean,
very cool. Yeah,
I'm not sure if they were the first ones to write that riff, because that's a riff you hear so much in metal, isn't it? But I think they've done it better than anyone else, and I can't remember that riff being written before Cinderella done it, but you hear that all the time. That dad, dad, dad. It's very Dokken-y, actually, as you think about it. Very Dokken type.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That sort of riff they would do. I think of the Dream Warriors, I think, something like that. Dream Warriors is a similar sort of riff, but
it's got that kind of dark edge to it. It's kind of like, you know, it's like,
I love it. I love that song.
Great album.
Okay, well, I'm going on to an album that's been mentioned from Dom, Vinnie Vincent's Invasion debut album, and it's Back on the Streets.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love this song, man. It actually got John Norum done a version of this. Don't know if you remember. Europe. He done a solo album.
Right. Oh, on a solo album. So he covered it.
He covered it. Just wasn't as good as this one, but you know, never is it? But this was it's a bit different, wasn't it, on this album? A bit darker, this song, because it was a really fun album. It was a party album, that whole album. But this one was more of had a bit of a darker edge to it, I would say. I just love everything about the album, to tell you the truth. And Back on the Streets is probably my favourite track. Maybe that and Boys Are Gonna Rock are just like right up there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just absolutely brilliant. Love Vinnie Vincent's Invasion. I wish he's another one that frustrates the fuck out of me. I just wish he'd do something. Just do something. You know.
He's done something to his face.
He looks like
I don't think he can even play anymore, to be honest. There's a video of him at some like convention or something from, you know, when he started doing interviews again and stuff about 2 or 3 years ago. There's a video of him just playing with some pickup band. And it doesn't even look good. He's probably deadly nervous playing in front of people for the first time in 30 years or something, but it just looked like even the fingers were really good.
Yeah, it also seems like every time he plays, it's always something acoustic. He just does something, a little acoustic song. It's never it's not
a little thing here.
It's a shame. It's a shame, but a great album. Well, them 2 albums are just fucking outstanding, them first 2. Okay, track 8. What we got, guys?
Right, by the sounds of it, you guys might not pick this as you were trying to do newer bands, but yes, new bands you hadn't talked about, but I'm going with it because I love this album. Somewhere in Time, Iron Maiden. I know Lee prefers the ones before this, but I love this album. I came back to it. I started on Seventh Son, and this was probably one of the ones I heard afterwards. But I just spent hours looking at this album sleeve and the back, because there's so much. You know, it's all the bits in there, the Ruskin Arms and the Aces High and Icarus up there. It's just you could spend days. You know, and there's a big. I don't know what the list is. There's hundreds of references to things, isn't there? And it must have taken Derek Riggs a long time to draw. But I mean, I love every track on this album. I don't think it's a bad track. Some of them are a bit overplayed now. Probably don't play Wasted Years or Heaven Can Wait much. But you know, the rest of the tracks are brilliant. And I've gone for I had on my main list, I had Deja Vu, which we've gone past, but I wanted this one. It's Alexander the Great, the song that most Maiden fans absolutely love and plead with them to play live, and they never have done, as far as I know. Even when they did it somewhere back on tour a few years ago, they didn't play it, which we're all surprised about. We thought they would dig it out and try and do it, but they never have.
Apparently, it's something I've read about this. Apparently, it's something to do with it being too difficult to play.
Yeah,
whether it's Nico McBrain, I think it's the drumming. It's something about the drum. I can remember. It's something anyway that it's too difficult to play live. I can't see that. I can't see. I'm not saying it. I'll be able to play it, but the stuff that they play, you would think, you know what I mean? What is difficult on that song? I'm just trying to think about what it would be.
Yeah, it's quite slow to start with, isn't it? Anyway, and then it's quite ploddy as well, with like a typical Maiden song. It doesn't really get fast.
There's a little bit of a progressive bit in there, like where a little bit of clean guitar and the drumming. But I can't think of anything that would particularly throw Maiden off of playing it.
The lyrics are quite difficult, I expect, but Bruce is pretty good at that sort of stuff, isn't he? So I don't think he'd struggle. But brilliant song anyway.
I didn't realize the overall love for this track until a few years ago, as you said. I think they did like a poll of the tracks that fans want to hear or whatever, and that was consistently in the top 3 or whatever. I was like, I didn't know it was like one of those tracks that people love so much. I didn't realize it, but maybe it's grown over the years, you know.
All I would say is lyrically, and I'm not having a go because I love the track. It's like they've read about Alexander the Great, and it's almost like they've
They've tried to pack in as much as they could.
Yeah, it's like bullet points. It's like bullet points. The main things that happened, and I'm just going to list them. It's a bit strange lyrically for them. A bit, not as intelligent lyrically as they normally are. Even now they're probably more intelligent with their lyrics than they ever have. Yeah. But it's almost like that year that happened. Then he won. He did that battle. It's a bit strange.
Age of 13,
yeah. It's a bit weird, but still.
It's a bit Wikipedia. It is.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
Well, I have a small antidote just because these came right after one after another. I saw them on Somewhere in Time, and the support band was Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Oh, all right.
And that did not go over well.
No, my God. No.
I think of all the gigs I've ever seen, they got pelted with the most.
Oh,
it was not good. Oh man. but Maiden were great.
Oh yeah.
That's a tour when he had a light up jacket with like lights on it, so he would go and it would light up. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay. I didn't. He had a light up jacket though, didn't he, Bruce? On that tour, didn't he? It
was a big jacket. I remember.
I meant Bruce. Not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Did they have big claws?
He had tubes. He had like tubes running around the jacket, didn't he? And it was like all lit up.
They had big inflatable hands at the side of the stage, but they kept failing, didn't they? And just flopping down. But it didn't work very well.
All part of the fun, mate. All part of the fun.
Oh.
Okay. What you got, Dom?
Okay. Well, we have another classic 1986 album. Huge album for a lot of people, including me. Always love this track. It's probably got my favorite bridge of all time. We're one of my favorite bridges of all time. This is from Eat 'Em and Smile, David Lee Roth, and this is called Big Trouble. It's more of a mellow song. It's not like a full out rocker, but Vi's playing on it is just great, and it's just got just got a great riff. I just always loved the whole feel of this song. It's something that only Roth could pull off. Really, he's talking about people with funny names, and it's just terrific. It's almost like it gives you a vibe of like a 40s detective film or something, very cool. So always loved that track, so I made sure that number 7 was that. So Big Trouble from Eat 'Em and Smile.
Apologies to Van Hagar fans, but Roth kicked your fucking ass that year.
Yes,
he kicked your ass, and he didn't fucking stop. I'm telling you, that was one fan. Another album that just said, all right, wherever it broke up, and he just absolutely beat the shit out of the band. He just left without a doubt. I love that.
You're gonna do keyboard ballads? Oh, all right. I'll open up with fucking Yankee Rose.
Fucking brilliant. What an album that was. Absolutely brilliant choice, mate. Okay. My number 8. We have done a little program on this. It's Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
Off one of my favourite albums, Seventh Star of theirs. Underrated album, without a doubt. Slagged off album. Don't know why.
My favorite Tony Martin album, yeah.
Yeah.
oh no, this is Tony Martin. It's the Glenn Hughes one, isn't it?
No, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I thought you was taking the piss.
No.
And it's the brilliant song Angry Heart. Absolutely fantastic. It is a sort of a 2-part song, as my mate Mark would say. It leads into In Memory, which is also a great track. It's sort of a heavy song, then leads into like a really quiet, somber last track. But Angry Heart's got such a brilliant riff. It's just absolutely fantastic. All right, it might not sound like Sabbath, and I know it was Sabbath. No, sorry, was it Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi or something like that?
It's supposed to be a solo album, but the record label made him put the name on it.
But I absolutely loved this album. I thought it was one of their best. And even though I'm not a huge Glenn Hughes fan, I thought he did a fantastic job in this album. I think you've mentioned that before, Dom. The way he sang on this album was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he doesn't do that kind of out of control screams and stuff that he loves so much.
Definitely a lost gem, that Angry Heart. Absolutely.
I've heard that new Dead Daisies albums. They play that quite a lot, and I think his voice is still pretty good to me.
He's got a great voice, you know, and there's other people that there's no doubt about it. He's a brilliant talent, like so many vocalists out there, but he just doesn't do something for me. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't.
He just oversings for me. I mean, not all the time, but especially if you hear live tracks of his, he's just out of control. I mean, just because you got a great voice doesn't mean you need to go full throttle 100%, you know, all the time.
And that Dead Daisies album, mate, I liked it when I first heard it, and I went off of it within a second. I was like, I liked it at first, and it just bored me after a while. Too much blues going on again. For me.
I think it's good, but you know, I like Karabi quite a bit, so I do prefer them with his voice.
There's something about Dead Daisies where they can't quite write really good songs. It's like they're almost there, but they can't quite do it. I know it's ain't about Dead Daisies, I know, but there's something about them. I don't know what it is. But Angry Heart, guys, Black Sabbath, my number, featuring Tony Iommi, obviously. There you go. All right. Okay, number 9.
Number 9. I'm going for a band we've talked about, a classic band. I'm not a massive fan of whatsoever, but I've gone for Motorhead, and another title track actually, my third or fourth one of the day, and it's Orgasmatron from the obviously titled album. Motorhead's 7th album.
This is getting ridiculous.
Oh,
can we redo this whole show? Can we redo this whole show?
It's all
well, it's fucking hell.
What's the chances?
Especially a year like this, where you can have so fucking many.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, go ahead, Jam. Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, don't say I'm not a massive Motorhead fan, but this is a very slow track, isn't it, Orgasmatron? And he's almost speaking it. He's almost speaking the lyrics in Lemmy's own style. And I've just, of all the Motorhead tracks, this is one of my favourite ones. I say I'm not a big fan of Motorhead. No, I'm not that I have anything against them. It's just I don't listen to them. I'm not listening to any of the albums particularly, but Orgasmatron is one of the ones that stuck with me. It's a lot slower, and it's a good cover version of it by Sepultura. I think it's a bonus track on the Arise album. I believe it might be on Beneath the Remains, but I'll let Dom say a little bit about it. Just a heavy, very slow Motorhead song.
It's going to let you say something, Dom. There you go. After your third fucking choice has been fucked up.
And of course, he had to go first on this one, so you know.
Yeah, you can get me back on the next one.
I'm sure from here on out we won't have anything matching. You know, it's just a standout track because it is so different. As you said, he's either speaking or in a very low kind of voice, and it's just that riff for the whole thing. That dang, dang, dang. They had a producer called Bill Laswell on this album, who was an odd choice because he was kind of more of an experimental producer, did a lot of like dub stuff through the early 80s, so very bass heavy, but it did work for them because this album didn't sound like anything that they had done before, and especially this track. So I've got the Sepultura version as well on my iTunes, but love it. So there you go.
Is that the album with that great cover with the train?
Yes.
Yeah. Great cover.
Amazing cover.
Yeah. It's good. I like that cover. Well done, guys. Good choice for both of you. I'm going to an album again that's already been mentioned by Dom, and it's Dave Lee Roth and Bump and Grind.
Oh yeah.
Oh, heavy, like I said, just kicking Van Hagar's ass all over the place. Absolutely brilliant. I love this album. I just think it was so much fun. I mean, he had a couple of fuckabouts on this album, didn't he? Like he always does, like they did with Van Halen. And even I love them as well. I just think everything about this album was perfect. I absolutely love it. He never topped it again as far as solo albums are concerned. Nowhere near. Even the next one just took the heaviness out of it. You know, that real. Even Steve Vai was still there, but Steve Vai, like you said, Dom, done an amazing job. Obviously, trying to live up to Eddie Van Halen, and he done a fucking good job at it. Put it that way.
Oh yeah, I think that that was the perfect band for him to come out with.
Yeah. Everyone in that band was just amazing.
Billy Sheehan,
yeah.
And it's Greg. I can't know how to pronounce his surname. Greg
Panett, I think.
Yeah, they were just. He just got these musicians together that were just mental. Absolutely mental, absolutely brilliant. Bump and Grind is a real heavy track, one of the heaviest on the album. Absolutely brilliant. But we move on. We move on to the last track. This is the last time we're going to have 10 tracks as well. We're going to have 12, I think, in 1987. We may have 12, depends how hard it is. But but we're up to track 10 on this one. The last track. What you got, Jam?
Okay. Well, we might have another clash here, maybe not. But
I bet we are.
We're going for the classic, another thrash metal album, Slayer, Rain in Blood, and well, sort of title track, obviously, it's spelled differently. Rain in Blood.
So we let Dom talk about this one, Jam, first?
No, I'm fine with it.
Oh, come on. You can. We'll let you do it.
I'm not going to be like I'm not going to be like somebody else and get up and walk off camera or anything like that. Listen, it just proves how good a taste we have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What bad taste I have? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
come to your own conclusions.
Yeah.
No, of course not. I am shocked. What was that? The fourth one now that we've had?
Four. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's so weird.
I mean, if there's anyone watching this thinking that ain't incredible, just think about not just the amount of albums, the amount of songs. So you've chosen the same songs, and everyone's got different tastes, haven't they?
In the same order. Yeah. It's just crazy.
It is mental.
But you know, to be fair, the four we have are all iconic songs. I mean,
that's true. That is true.
Bells, Somebody Save Me, you know.
Peace Cells, wasn't it? Yeah, Somebody Save Me.
Yeah.
Gasmatron. Yeah,
Gasmatron. These are all, you know, all very well-known classic songs. So I guess it's not that weird, but still, it's hilarious.
But they're not overplayed either, are they? These songs aren't overplayed. That's a difference in it as well. But.
No, I mean, when it comes to Raining Blood, God, if you've ever seen them live, when the moment where it just starts and it's dun dun dun, and just the anticipation of that, you know, of that gonna kick in, it's almost too much. It's almost too much for your body to take.
It's brilliant because they always used to play South of Heaven, which goes into a fade, doesn't it? It goes, and then they go straight into Raining Blood afterwards. So it's actually, and one of the last tracks until they come on with the encore, which we'll probably talk about in a minute, I think. But yeah, Raining Blood. Yeah, and then it's the perfect thrash album as it's been described, isn't it? There's 10 songs, I think. Every song's got 3 verses, 2 choruses, guitar solos, start, intro, outro, and it's 28 minutes long. Yeah, that's how fast it is. Unbelievable. Yeah,
it was revolutionary when it came out. Absolutely. The production style and everything, you know, that was back when Rick Rubin really had something to prove. Just great. So yeah, it still excites the fuck out of me. I just love it so much. So there you go.
Well, I couldn't have gone any further the other way on the spectrum of rock and metal, I don't think.
Bryan Adams or something?
No. I'm closing with Boston.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Third Stage album, and it's Holly Ann. So,
another girl.
Yeah, another girl. Yeah, definitely. But they started this album with Amanda and finished it with Holly Ann. There you go. But I just, them first 3 albums, I didn't follow them after that. And they're still trying to use Brad Delp's voice in the last album. I just find it a bit weird. but this whole album was excellent and slagged off, by the way, by Kerrang. Just point that out. Said it was shit, and I think it was brilliant. It was a long time coming, because I think when did Boston come out? The first album, 76.
76, and then Don't Look Back was 78. So
then they waited for 86.
Yeah,
so
years.
For bands back then, that's a fucking long time. I know it's normal now, but
Exactly.
Back then it was like every year, wasn't it? Near enough, but it was a long time coming. It sounded just like it did in 76, 78, whatever it was. I love the song. It's got twists and turns a little bit. It's a bit of a ballad, I'd say. It's a really cool listen. It's quite a nice listen. It's even got I'm sure it's got a little organ solo bit, which
your favourite.
Exactly. But for some reason it fits. Brad Delp's voice, man. I mean, he's got to be up there when you talk about great vocalists of all time. I just love his voice. He's brilliant. But that rounds off my, somewhat mixture of real metal and then some really soft stuff as well. So,
have you ever spoken to your pal Michael Sweet about his time in Boston?
No, I was going to mention that when I interviewed him, but I thought, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about other stuff, and I thought, because that's gone now, I wanted to talk about more up-to-date stuff. But I've watched some live stuff. He was in the band for what, almost 5 years or something, right? Yeah, singing live. I've watched some of his live stuff. He done some Boston concert with him where he was guesting with loads of vocalists. I think he sang Amanda, and then they asked him to join. But you're not exactly going to have a big output of albums, are you? When you're not going to put new albums out when you're with Boston. No, that's the problem.
But I think that's just something that most people don't know, is that Michael Sweet fronted Boston for a few years back then. Yeah.
And man, if you sing some of those songs, if you get anywhere near where Brad Delp is, you've got to be a half decent singer, ain't you? You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't front them without having a decent voice. So
yeah.
No, that's my 10 tracks done, guys. Honourable mentions.
Right. Okay. I'll start with. I'll try and be fairly concise. Track 1, AC/DC, Who Made Who? Mostly a compilation album, of course, but this is an original song. Great song, great AC/DC song. This is the one I thought people might pick, and that's from. I thought people were going to pick Yankee Rose from David Off Eaton and Smile. I thought that might be, and that's what I was going to have as my number one. Walk in the Shadows from Rage for Order. You haven't picked anything from that, Lee, surprisingly.
I know.
Slayer, Angel of Death, of course. Priest, Turbo Lover. I do like Turbo, good album. I'm going to pick that. And I actually had Hearing Aid Stars on my list for honourable mentions.
Oh, right.
So that was good. Track 2, Wasp, Inside the Electric Circus. I think it was on my Wasp list. Van Hagar, Why Can't This Be Love? Track 3, 51st State is that new Model Army song I really like. All about the UK being a 51st state of America. Nothing for track 4. So 5, I had 7th Star, Sabbath album.
Nice.
Bon Jovi, Wanted Dead or Alive, I think we mentioned that. Track 6, I had Talk Dirty for me from Poison album.
All right.
So that would be good. I do like that.
Fun track, yeah.
Number 7, My Brain Is Hanging Upside Down from the Ramones, from Animal Boy. Great song. New Rigel from Rage for Order.
Oh, New Rigel, my favourite Queensryche song ever.
Yeah, I know you like that one. I'm surprised you haven't put it in, but I know you said you were going to pick a different one, so that's fair enough. Tesla One Day Cowboy. I listened to Mechanical Resonance again, and I think I do prefer the next album personally, but this is a good song off this album. Ozzy, Killer of Giants, probably my favourite song, one of my favourite songs. Ultimate Sin, good album. And this will be controversial. Beastie Boys and Fight for Your Right to Party and No Sleep Till Brooklyn. 7 and 8, brilliant. This album is pretty rocking. The first track is sampled from Led Zeppelin, and it's a great album. I've really got into this sort of thing that's passed around on tape at school, and I like it. And Beastie Boys on some great stuff. Obviously a little bit controversial, so we'll move on from that. Ozzy, number 9, Shot in the Dark, I might have had. And then my last one was Alice Cooper, He's Back, the man behind the mask, Constrictor, which is a good song. I think it's Friday the 13th part 8,
Six.
7, 6. Yeah, it's on that
I
film.
think six. I think Jason Lives. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good song. It's a sort of a comeback album for Cooper and getting more into metal than he had been before the next year's album, which is pretty good.
I had that album. It's the only Alice Cooper album I like. I never used to like him when he first started, but that album I actually really liked. It was pretty good.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, what you got, Dom?
I don't have much because he's covered all of them.
As usual. Nothing new there.
It was just albums that I didn't have room for that I still love. So Judas Priest Turbo, Ozzy Osbourne, The Ultimate Sin, Tesla, Mechanical Resonance. but I actually have two. We've got King Diamond's first album, which is Fatal Portrait, which was just a great continuation from what he was doing with Merciful Fate. Really strong debut album from him. And then the second of two albums from Stone Fury, which is Lenny Wolf, who went on to do Kingdom Come. This was his band before that. They were a bit more melodic rock than bluesy, Zeppelin-y stuff that he was doing. But he still got that great voice. And the songs are great. They're really catchy and they're really quite good. So yeah, Stone Fury. But that's really all I have.
Well, I've a lot of these have been mentioned already, and I actually like a lot of these albums more than the albums that I put on the list because, like I said, I'm trying to do something a bit different. Obviously, you've mentioned it already, Jam, my favourite Queensryche album as well. That's without breaking it down every track like a weirdo. I think it's my favourite album. You know, it feels like it is. But, you know, actually going scientifically, I haven't worked it all out yet, but I absolutely love everything about the album. I could have just chosen anything off of it, but I just think I talk about Queensryche so much. You know, I mean, I'm trying not to do it too much. Yeah. Maiden, Somewhere in Time, you know, I love the album, like you said, Jam. I just think that was the start of the decline for me. The start, Power Slave was the height, and then they just, for me, they slowly went downhill. Even though they're great now, by the way, I'm not slagging them off. Master of Puppets for me was one of the best albums of the year as well. Could have chosen anything off there. Every song just sounds so fresh to me off that album. Like, you know, I can listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
Like my favourite Aussie album, Ultimate Sin, as well. I love Shot in the Dark. I love Killer of Giants. I love Lightning Strikes Again, is it?
Yeah. Thank God for the bomb.
The one, yeah. That's the one I tried to fit in and I just couldn't get it.
What one's that?
Lightning Strikes.
Yeah, the one you just mentioned, James, the only one I don't actually like. I think. Thank God for the bomb. Yeah, I just don't like his voice on it. It's just that it gets a bit whiny on that for me. But you know, a great album. J.K. Lee's just fantastic on the album. Dancing Undercover Rat. Yeah, I've grown to like that even more. Black and Blue, Nasty, my favourite Black and Blue album. I wanted to get something off of there, but it was so much. Kill, The Final Frontier. I actually love that album. One of the biggest albums for me. Ron Keel actually messaged me the other day. Just thought I'd get that in.
Really?
Yeah, said he really liked my videos and that. FM.
I have to say,
sorry.
Black and Blue, Nasty, and Keel, Find a Frontier.
Yes.
Both produced by Gene Simmons.
Yeah, and Ron Keel was on one of the track. The Black and Blue guy, James, is it? He was on the Keel, Find the Frontier as well, guesting.
Oh, right.
So that was quite cool. FM Indiscreet, AOR, British band, absolutely excellent. We do go on about this. Me and Darren go on about this band all the time. Bit of a, you know, underrated band, definitely. And the last one, which I talk about this band all the time as well. So that's the only reason it ain't on the band. Probably brought out one of their best albums, and that's Striper. To Hell with the Devil was out that year. So I mean, just some fantastic songs off of that. And the groundbreaking, really, at the time.
Yeah. Spoiled for choice, we are.
Definitely spoiled for choice. So there'll probably be loads of people, because I've got quite a few Striper fans saying, why weren't, you know, that's the reason. Just talk about Striper. They're probably one of the biggest bands to talk about. And I wanted to do something different. But there you go. I could have chosen so many songs off of To Hell with the Devil. But there you go. Thanks, guys, for joining me, as usual. Yep. Then we're going to get into the later years, obviously. 87's next. So we'll
Yes.
probably do
Yeah,
that in a
look
week's
forward to that.
time.
Yeah.
I better message Jam next time and say this is my fucking top 10.
You'll be going first. You'll be going first. I'll be copying you.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sure it won't happen too much. Not like that anyway. But there you go.
No, probably
And
not when we get to 90s.
Also a plug, even though I should have done it at the beginning. Of course, we're talking about 1986 next on the live stream coming up at the end of the month, 26th of June, I think it is, Saturday. So, 1986. So all my research is done, which is good.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me as usual. See you in a week's
Absolutely.
time, yeah? See you in a week's time.
Cheers, chaps.
Bye, guys.
See you later, guys.